Welcome back to another episode of Spurs Chat. I'm delighted to bring on three special guests: Jamie Brown from the Daily Hotspur, Antony Costa, the singer from Blue, and Elena, the host of the Football Terrace and also runs Lily White TV. Jamie, let's start with you. Where do we start with all of this? Tottenham Hotspur, 5 defeats in our last 6 Premier League games. We're down to 9th in the Premier League, 9 points from the top 4. Jose Mourinho has come out and said that my coaching methods are second to no better in the world. Spurs have problems I cannot resolve. I don't know what you mean by Tottenham are in a crisis. How do you see it, and how did you see yesterday's game?
Look, for me, yesterday's game, it was very frustrating. Look, Gareth Bale came on and he did seem to change the game. He kind of took it by the scruff of the neck. And I think the biggest compliment I can pay to him is that Spurs started looking like an actual competent side going forwards. In that first half, I thought we were really poor. There just didn't seem to be much of a plan. We were constantly going just down one side. We were very easy to defend against. And, you know, that's been kind of the case in a couple of matches where, yes, I think the attacking performances have been somewhat very underwhelming. And when you look at the talent that we have in attack, you know, you Harry Kane, Heung-min Sons, and now Gareth Bale, that's kind of a front line that you don't want to be wasting. So, I think, you know, now he's really relying on Gareth Bale, but maybe that could be the turning point in this season. You saw the way that he came on and kind of took the game by the scruff of the neck. That's what we're going to need to see more of. But I think the debate will be whether he'll play him. He's shown that he's earned his opportunities now. So let's see if he plays him now. But that could really be his big saving grace, Gareth Bale coming back into form.
Elena, let's come to you. Welcome to the channel, first of all. Hope you're well. Jamie mentioned the words there, turning point. We are all looking for a turning point. 5 defeats now in our last 6 Premier League games. When are Tottenham going to turn this around, and when are we going to see some good football again?
I mean, good football. I think we got the wrong manager for that one. But anyway, that's a different story. For me, I think that there are many problems at the club. That is a guarantee. We need an overhaul, a huge overhaul. I think we need a lot of what we need to do is go back to what we did when we first got Poch. He came in, took out all that dead wood. It's unfortunate that we need to go around in circles. I totally see that. But that is the only way forward with the way we are run. We have to remember the reality. We do not have owners that are going to go and overhaul in everything, like in the way he normally does at other clubs. Like, he ain't going to get 400 million like he did at United to go and spend what he wants, get the players in now and win what he wants. For me, the problem lies with the manager not being the right fit for what we need. What Levy and what we tried to do was quick fix, put a band-aid on this current squad of players and actually try win something with them. And we need to now hold them accountable for that and actually now, cut your losses with this manager and this group of players and start again and get a manager that wants to rebuild this team and actually overhaul it now, because he's not the manager that's going to do a Tottenham Hotspur rebuild. I don't know what we're kidding ourselves and what we're thinking, but realistically, he doesn't want to rebuild Tottenham Hotspur. He wants 3 or 4 world-class centre-backs and, maybe a creative player. But it just says to me that you need to realise the job that he needs to do, and the job he needs to do is not a Jose Mourinho job.
Eleanor, is it fair to say then you are Jose out?
I'm Jose out. But I don't see how people say you have to pick one or the other. I know our board are crap, and I know our players are not good enough. But what I'm saying is, it doesn't make sense having Jose Mourinho for a Tottenham Hotspur rebuild. To me, that those two things do not match because of the way we are run and the way we do business. It's just totally, totally different. Thanks.
And
I don't normally get
great. Antony, great to have you back on again. How are you feeling about it? Because, of course, the last time we spoke, you turned around and jokingly said to me, there will be mistakes in the defence again. Antonio will score. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was on Elena's show the other day, and I was on with Jamie last night on Last Word as well. I said to Ricky, he said, what do you think the score's going to be? I said, we might nick a draw, but I think we might. I know Antonio will score, or Lingard will score, or Bowen will score, because Bowen hasn't scored all season. And lo and behold, Bowen sets up Antonio, and Lingard scores. Now, when I hear things like, did he get the team right? No, he didn't get the team right. It was wrong from the start, wrong from the lineup. I would have played Bale yesterday, and I would have played Ali as well. I think they were both deserving of a chance. But it's just essential defenders, mate. It's not good enough. It's mistake after mistake, and it's mistakes FC. And I'm getting a bit tired of it now, because I know I'm watching the game and I know that he's going to score in a minute. So I just sit back and I watch him score. It's not enjoyable, and I hate saying that about my club, about our club that we love. But at the moment, it's a club that I love to hate. Not hate. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just getting to a point now where, yeah, thank God football's on. But am I enjoying it? No. Is Mourinho right for the job? I don't know anymore. I really don't know. And I get what Elena's saying, but who's going to come in with a shoestring budget? No one at the moment.
But then we have to take it that he's made our club less desirable then, because we were at a very desirable place before he came in. So what we're saying is Jose Mourinho has come here and made our club less desirable. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, but it's still the squad, though, Elena. It's still the squad. It's been like that for the last 2 years. And Poch did say that, didn't he? So it's all well. Listen, I'd love a rebuild as much as you do. You would, but are we going to get 35, 40 million for Sanchez? Are you going to get 30 million for Dyer? You know, I'm just putting out these names, but they seem to be the scapegoats at the moment because they are making the same mistakes, and it's just horrible to see. It's back to the Spurs in the 90s, Chris, isn't it?
You know what, Anthony? You probably saw a tweet that I put out yesterday. I don't feel like I'm Jose in or Jose out right now, because I feel that if you were to appoint a new manager today, I feel that we're going to go full circle yet again. I think it's such a shame, and I feel very sad as a Tottenham Hotspur fan right now, watching us lose virtually every week. You know, losing 5 out of 6 Premier League games, that is relegation form.
100%.
Anthony, where do you stand on it? Are you Jose in or Jose out, or are you like me sitting on the fence right now?
Chris, I'm sitting on the fence, mate, and I'm telling you, it's hurting my backside. Let me tell you, because when he first joined, obviously,
it's fine.
No, Elena, trust me. Listen, I was pro Jose, but before all this COVID and lockdowns and tiers systems and everything else, and no fans in the stadium, would there have been a difference? I don't know. Would he have got that extra bit of money? Would he have got them extra players?
I don't know. A lot of pressure. If fans were in the stadium and we were playing like that, we would be booing. I tell you that for sure. That would not. He would be under a lot more pressure now.
Yeah.
He's lucky. Yeah. He's lucky that we don't have fans.
Maybe he is lucky. Maybe it is a blessing. But what I'm seeing,
he's not special anymore. I know that.
What I'm seeing is, all I know is that Mourinho has broken his own records, his own bad records, because he's been Spurs. You know, I've read a tweet about Poch today. He's the worst start of a manager since all the money. So we are a cursed club, boys and girls. Let me tell you.
Jamie, let's come to you. Antony rightly pointed out there, Jose Mourinho is breaking record after record after record, week in, week out. And they're not records that are looking any good. They're for the worst. He's got 81 points with Tottenham in his first 50 games at the club. You know, when you look back at all his managerial career, 124 with Porto, 126 with Chelsea in his first spell, 113 with Inter, 123 with Real Madrid, 114 with Chelsea in his second spell, 95 with Manchester United, but only 81 with Spurs. What are your thoughts on Jose Mourinho? In or out?
Look, for me right now, I wouldn't get rid of him purely because it's a decision that I don't want to rush into. I think with the manager, it's a decision where, it's not like you want to go out and sign a striker and you desperately need a new striker, so you just go out and sign one, whoever. I think that with the manager situation, you've got to have the right guy. And for me, it would be you'd have to wait until the summer to make that decision. And as crazy as it might sound, I still think we've got a good chance to go well in the Europa League. I think that's a competition that we can still do well in. Now, look, we look at the squad and people say there isn't a need for a rebuild. But a couple of months ago, we were a side that were sitting right near at the top of the league. And people were saying that we could go on and do all these things. So, he's changed something. And I think something has changed where, he's selecting different players. You look at the centre-back partnership, that for me is the biggest issue. And that's causing us a lot of problems. Back in November, when we were playing the likes of, when we got a draw with Chelsea, we beat Manchester City, we went on a really good run. I think we beat Arsenal. We had a strong centre-back partnership and we had a regular centre-back partnership. We had Dyer and Alderweireld as the two. And that's something that he's gone away from. And I can't understand it. I think at the moment, the continuing changing is really killing us. So yeah, for me, I think he's making some questionable decisions in terms of the team selection. That for me, he's something that he's got to really change. I mean, the centre back partnership, you've got to try and rediscover that. And we've got a partnership there that is proven, that's shown it can do well. So I don't know why he's moved away from that. I don't know why he suddenly ditched Joe Rodon. So again, it's some questionable decisions, but there has been shown that there is potential in this squad. There's potential from this manager. So if we can somehow rediscover that and he goes back to the ways that we were playing in November and the team we were picking, then maybe we have a chance. But right now, I think if you continue to pick the likes of Sanchez and Dyer as the two centre-back partnerships, then I do worry that, the season's going to end in a not very good way.
That's the key. That's the key, what Jamie's saying, Chris. That is the key. Get a steady centre-back partnership. Me and West Ham yesterday, everyone's going, we've got better players than them. Yeah, we probably have on paper, but they were organised from back to front, front to back, middle, sideways.
That's coaching. If we've got a better squad on paper, that's coaching.
Yeah, but would Potts get a better song out of him? I don't know.
No, there's a reason why we sacked Poch. So I don't know why every time we try and say something about
listen, babe,
no one else is talking about Poch.
I'm not talking about Poch. I'm just telling you, who are we going to bring in to come in and go, I know what should be done as a fan. I know what should be done. So do you, so does Chris, so does Jamie. We can't change it. What are we going to do? Bring someone else. They're going to have a few games bounce back. Brilliant. Yeah, we're 5th, 6th in the league. And then we go and lose to Man City in the Carabao Cup, and we go and lose to Leicester or Arsenal, knowing our luck, in the next round of Europa League.
Game, right? I feel like we're bouncing around we've won one game in the last 5, and that game was at home to West Brom. Like, are we seriously gonna ignore the basic facts? This guy has to be held accountable for some of these actions. And what I'm saying is, you realise why we were top of the league in November? Because Son and Kane were overperforming. That's the only reason why, and it's not going to happen. You're not going to create 2 chances a game and score every chance you get. You're not going to do that every game. It's not sustainable football. The minute that caught up to us, the minute the goals stopped coming, the reason why he didn't want to play Bale is because Bale's too attacking. He doesn't defend enough. He can't track back enough. So what we're saying is, honestly, Son and Kane were outperforming their XG every game to a ridiculous level. Yeah. And that's why we were top. That is not a sustainable way to play football for more than, a season or so. This is why Jose Mourinho is a short-term manager, because he gets you the results very quickly, but the way he does it isn't sustainable. You go buy your Gareth Bales, get you over the line, but then they're not long-term fixes. So this is why he's very short-term, thinks about the 190 minutes. This is why I say, like, we didn't get the right manager for what we need, because we just tried to paper over what this squad needed.
Of course.
Who was I brought in? Gone all out for Nagelsmann. I've gone all out for Nagelsmann personally.
Because he's proven, isn't it? At 33, he's proven.
No.
Do you see what I'm saying?
No. See, this is
Go on.
No. But this is what we don't.
This is why it's so difficult.
It's so difficult.
It actually makes me want to batter my head against the wall, because we don't have the team. No, we don't have the team for a winning manager. We all have to be honest here.
100%.
We don't have the team for Jose Mourinho.
We haven't got the winning mentality. We never have done.
It's not about mentality. It's not about mentality. We need new players. We need new players.
100%.
And then, yes, but we're not gonna go. This is the point. This is where we're not understanding. What did Poch do when he first came in? Went in, overhauled that squad, went in and brought in some youngsters and had to build them up, right? That's what we did. Right?
Yeah.
That is exactly what he did. That's what we need to do again. It doesn't matter if we want it or not. That's just the reality of what needs to happen. Because I'm sorry, we ain't gonna go and buy 4 defenders. We ain't gonna go and buy it's just not gonna happen. So we're not being honest here. Again, it doesn't matter what he's won. I'm not saying we go sack Jose Mourinho, we're going to win the league. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we need to start again. We need to clean slate. And we need to realise, okay, we fucked up. We messed up.
Jamie, let's come back to you. Now, the defence. It's been swapping and changing every single week. I know Sergio Reguilon come back in yesterday. a great addition to our squad. But Jose Mourinho, after the game, said he was disappointed by the body language from some of the Spurs defenders. Why does this keep happening?
Because he keeps picking them. And that's the problem for me. I mean, look, they're the players that are short of confidence and that aren't good enough either. And he keeps picking them. And that, for me, is the biggest issue. Now, look, I've got a slightly different view on the squad. I actually think maybe we're underestimating it a little bit. I mean, if you look at some of the quality, there is a lot of quality in that squad. You've got Harry Kane, Son, Lo Celso, Ndombele, Hojbjerg, Reguilon. So there is real talent in that squad. For me, I kind of look at it and we're in a slightly similar situation to where Liverpool found themselves when we beat them 4-1. Now they had some decent players. They had Salah, they had Mane, and they had a decent team. But what they did is they went out and identified in a couple of the key positions what they really needed. And of course, they went and signed a lot of money on Alisson, a lot of money on a top centre half. And for me, that's what we need to do. And that's why I don't think we're a million miles off. The problem is we're probably a million miles off because we're probably not willing to spend that sort of money on big defenders. And that maybe is where the issue is. I think if you were to bring in a big transformative defender into that centre-back position, that's where it would change. And I think that's letting us down so much. You look at a lot of the goals we conceded. It's poor organisation. There's no one taking leadership in the back line. And that for me is what we're missing. I think we're only a couple of players away, but they're big players away. So that for me is the issue. If you can build around the likes, as I said, like Lo Celso and Ndombele, Hojbjerg, Son, Kane, Bale, lots of really exciting players there. So you need to go and build around them with players and identify, exactly like Jurgen Klopp did at Liverpool when he identified centre back and goalkeeper as the areas, and that's what Spurs need to do. Whether Spurs are willing to go and do that is obviously a different question, and I'm not sure. So we'll have to wait and see.
Jamie, not many people were moaning when Tottenham was sat top of the Premier League for 5 months earlier this season, though.
That's the thing for me. And look, Spurs, we do have a quality side, and even at the start of the year, I remember people drawing up pictures on Twitter and stuff of the squad and each position and then the backups, and people were saying, "Well, this is quite a good squad." So I think we're underestimating it, and I think that it's being wasted, and that for me is the frustrating thing at the moment.
Yeah.
Back, as I said, it's always, I go back in November when we were winning games.
But if we're underestimating it, that means that means it's his fault. If you're underestimating it, then you have to put it down to Mourinho. Then
for sure. Yeah, for sure. No, I agree, and that's where the frustration from yesterday comes. I look at Gareth Bale, looking like he's back to his best, and then you've got Harry Kane, you've got Heung-min Son, and that for me is where, as much as I think give Jose until the end of the season. You've got an exciting squad now. You've got an exciting array of attacking players there. So that for me is where maybe I'd slightly sway towards. I'm not going to say I want to get rid of the manager, but that's maybe where I would slightly start to sway to the other side because as I said, the attacking players.
Jamie, I've got to come in there. You used the word exciting there a couple of times. Yeah, it hasn't been exciting. In the last 5-6 weeks, is it?
No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't been, and that's maybe where I do agree. You have to ask question marks of the manager. And again, I think that the big issues is we're shooting ourselves in the foot by making so many errors. And yes, Davinson Sanchez is a poor defender. Yes, Eric Dyer is a poor defender, but I think there also needs to be these guys shouldn't be being selected. And I don't think they are that poor. They're surely Davinson Sanchez is not that bad as football as he was yesterday. So there are question marks for sure that have to be asked of the manager. They're for sure.
Elena, let's come around to you. Now, what does Jose Mourinho do in the next couple of months? Because, of course, many of us are looking forward to the League Cup final. Many of us aren't looking forward to it. We need a trophy. And on the 25th of April, we will be playing Manchester City in the Carabao Cup final at Wembley Stadium. Now, is Jose Mourinho putting all of his eggs into one basket in thinking about this Europa League final that he's hoping to take Spurs to? Question now on screen. Staying in the Europa is keeping Jose in his job. Now, are you confident that Jose Mourinho will deliver a trophy? I know you're Jose out at the moment, but will he get the time and will he deliver?
The thing is, no one can deny that he's the best manager for a 90-minute game. If you're talking about a final and something like that, he's the best manager for it. But let's be honest, our quality is nowhere near that City team. I mean, I'm worried about absolutely getting embarrassed in that final. I'm
Exactly. Yeah, I'm with Elena.
I'm scared of it being like an Arsenal when, you know, the Europa, when it was 4-1 to Chelsea and they just got absolutely mullered. Like, I'm worried about that sort of situation. So I am scared of it. Where do we go from here with him? He's got to start playing on the front foot. He's proven many times now when he does it his way, which is how we tend to start games. Everyone's like, yeah, we had 20 shots. Okay, that was when we were 2-0 down. We started playing football. Why is it when we're too late to draw a game that we then start playing football? This is my point with Mourinho. It's always going out not to lose, never going out to win. And we all know as Tottenham fans, well, what I grew up watching as a Tottenham fan was never that. We were never under that sort. That was never the way we were. And this is what I mean. I want to go out with the intent to win games, not the intent not to lose. And the minute we're losing, like, oh, we're one, like when we went 1-1 or 2 or, you know, 1-0 down, that's when we start playing a bit of football and we actually look like we're going to score. I don't know about you, but I'd rather be in the game than be scared of every opposition. So what we've got to do is start playing Bale, forgetting the whole Bergwijn defending thing. He's a right winger. You've got to start playing some football. And actually trying to attack the game a bit more and just playing a bit better. And I think Bale's got to start. Bale's shown his quality now. If he's either not fit, we get rid of him, or he's got to play. He looks like he can do it. And if he's not, then it's a Jose thing, and he doesn't want to take games to them. If he doesn't think we've got the quality, that's fine. But for me, we don't play to our strengths. We constantly invite pressure, and of course, your defenders are going to make mistakes. For me, the more time Harry Kane is in their box, the more chances we have to score. Sometimes, like against Chelsea, pretty sure he had Son had his touch in their box in the 87th minute. That's not okay, even if he's not telling them to do that. But
it's all about taking risks, isn't it? It's all about taking risks.
And we never take a risk.
We never take risks.
Take a risk.
No, and I get what you're saying. Sorry, I say there was times yesterday where Ndombele just went missing, and that's unlike him. You know, I thought there's a pass on. I can see it. Everyone else can see it, and he just played within himself, and it was just like, why are you not taking risks? You know, you've got to let the shackles off a little bit. And I get what you're saying, because the last sort of 4 or 5 games, as you know, by the Everton game, the FA Cup, we haven't looked good at all. And you know, Sonny, as much as I love him, hasn't been great the last 5 or 6 games. Yeah. You know, it pains me to say that, but it's true.
How do we play attacking football with this back line? I'm sorry, we're losing games without even having a shot. So what's the difference? I'd rather look like we're in the game than never in the game. I'm sorry, but that's just the way I like my football.
The worrying thing for me is that we actually look like we've tried to start playing attacking football. And the problem is we've kind of lost our identity completely now, because when we are playing attacking football in that first half, you know, we were going at West Ham, but we just didn't look like we knew what we were doing. And you say Ndombele was poor. Well, that's for me partly down to, you know, the tactics. You know, I'm not quite sure they know what the actual attacking plan is. We've seen in multiple games, or certainly in the last couple of games, that Spurs have looked to go forward.
You need coaching.
Look, I'm sure that, you know, there is obviously coaching there. I think the problem is they don't understand. I don't think they understand the tactics at the moment, because they're playing like a team that doesn't know what the plan is, especially when we're going forward. And now we've lost that counter-attacking style, and we're not sitting back deep anymore. We've just completely lost our identity now. So that, you know, I don't know what style of football we play anymore. That for me is a really big worry as well, for sure.
Well, of course, all of us support Spurs because of the way that Tottenham Hotspur play. Elena, you're on his channel for the first time. What got you into supporting Spurs?
Oh, unfortunately, my dad gave me this life of misery. My sister was never into it, and he made me that fan. So, yeah, it's always been me. Since my first game was against Bolton in the Cup, and we won 6-0. And that was Ferdinand's got a hat trick. I'm pretty sure that was my first ever game. So, yeah, that from then on, I was in this life of no trophies. So for me, if we're losing, I'd rather lose with throwing a punch. I'd rather look like a fool than a coward. That's the way I see life. So yeah, I think it's all about how you view things, because yeah, that's the way I view it.
You'd rather lose
Ellen,
5-0. You'd rather lose 5-0, but play good football.
Well, if I lose in 1-0, what's the difference? At least I look like I've got to actually take a chance. There's nothing
Eleanor,
going to change.
come
Don't
on.
lose the game
Eleanor,
twice.
Eleanor, come on, man. Come on.
Nothing's gonna change. You don't lose the game twice. I would rather go
All
all
right.
out at them.
Listen,
yes,
I'm funny.
like I'm getting
Listen,
a punch at them.
Eleanor, you didn't live through the 90s. I'm not being patronising. Chris will back me up here.
But what's
were
the
poor.
difference between losing a game one? So you'd rather lose a game 1-0 than ever look like you're
Eleanor, did you applaud the Everton game last week?
I felt like that was much better of a performance than Chelsea when we looked like we were never in the game. Against Chelsea, I was never confident we were going to get a winner. Against Everton, we looked like we could win the game.
So you accept?
Did you not? Are you serious right now?
We're at the cup.
Like,
we're at the cup. We're at the cup.
Yeah,
Eleanor, we're at the cup.
that.
We're at the cup. 30 years.
No.
30 years ain't good enough.
Oh my God, this is ridiculous to me, because I'm sorry, against Chelsea when we played, we looked like we were never in that game. We were never going to win that game. But we never went to win that game. We never went to win that game. We went to draw that game. So if we played like that, we would never have got the winner anyway. I would rather feel like we had more of a chance, and we felt like we had more of a chance against Everton than we ever did against Chelsea, to me. And to be honest, you don't ship 5 goals against Everton because you can't flip-flop. This is what I say as well. You can't go from playing pragmatic football for 19 months and then randomly switch to attacking. There's got to be some kind of pattern of coaching here. They're obviously going to ship goals if they're going from one style to another. We don't look like we have any style of actual play. We're just trying to find the best one still. It's been 19 months. You should have a style. And you still can't find it.
But we ain't got the squad.
Players.
But we ain't got a squad.
No, but this is the special one. He should be able to find some kind of pattern of play with these players. I'm sorry, you can't have a perfect situation at every club you go to. I'm sorry, if everyone's going to say he hasn't been backed, he can't be sacked, then you're saying a manager should only be sacked when when you've got a perfect situation and you've been backed totally. That's impossible at Tottenham.
Eleanor, if these results continue like this, how long do you think Jose Mourinho's got left?
It makes sense to keep until the end of the season, because I'm sorry, what is it, 2-3 months? We've
got 13 games left.
Yeah, you might as well keep him, because what's it gonna do? It's gonna just disrupt everything. But I do think at the end of the season, even if he wins that cup final, we've got bigger problems, and Jose Mourinho is not the man to do that. So for me, we're gonna have to get rid of him in the end of the season, no matter what. And to be honest, I don't really say this a lot because people get angry, but he did get 7 signings through the door. He chose Matt Doherty through the door. Don't tell me that's not his signing just because it's not very good. You did say, yes, I want this person. You did.
We're all happy with them, aren't we?
You're spot on. We were buzzing.
Yeah,
we were
all
buzzing. Yeah, you're right.
So I'm sorry saying, he hasn't been back. He's been back more than any other manager that I've known in my lifetime anyway. He's been back than more any other. Poch only got backed in his last season, and that's because he made a Champions League final. And the amount of money you get for a Champions League final is hella a lot more than the amount of money you get for even winning a Carabao Cup. So don't even think that winning that is going to make us spend money, because it's not.
Very good points. Antony, let's come to you. Question on screen now from Jordan. Everyone talks about individual mistakes, but nobody asks why that we only start playing when we are behind in games. Why do you think that is?
That's what Elena just said. Yeah, that's what we've been saying on and off, like in different pods we've done. Last, I think it was, where was it the other week? It took the 79th minute. It was a Man City game. It took us 80 minutes to have a first shot on target, or first. It was disgraceful. That's not good enough. Yeah, and I get what you're saying. Some, 90% of the time, I'm absolutely spot on. But when you haven't got the know-how and the mentality, it's a Spurs thing, and I hate saying that, because look at yesterday. We made Antonio, who was a good player, who was brilliant yesterday. But that's what I'm saying. We make these players look unbelievable. We made Brighton. They won their first game at home. Palace, Wolves, Liverpool. Every other team's beaten Liverpool by Spurs this season so far.
Because you're not allowed to attack Liverpool because it's Liverpool. That's what I was told.
Who said that? Who said
Well,
that?
that's what everyone says. That's what everyone says. You know, you can't expect to go toe to toe with
No,
them. They had
you
children
have to
as
go.
centre backs, children as centre backs, and midfielders as centre backs, and we sat there and didn't give them a game. I'm sorry. We had what was it like? What 4 attempts, or we were 2-0, 2-1 down. We had like 2 attempts.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not disputing you. I'm not disagreeing with you.
I just think that's
right.
a managerial problem though, because we could have gone at them. Every other team has. You're telling me Fulham and Brighton and all of that. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not teams that are better than Liverpool, but they managed to go at them. We're too scared of every opposition.
Every other team, we are. We're too scared. We're too scared.
And we're like, if our squad is better, like everyone says, well then we can go at more teams. Then you have to look to the manager. It's like both of them everything needs to come together, and there's no team. There's no team here. Like I say, you can't jump from one style to another just because one hasn't worked for 19 months. It's not the way he coaches football as well for years in his career. This is not how he plays. So he can't just suddenly try change it because like it just doesn't. It seems to me he's got no answers left. He's sitting there saying his coaching is second to none. Like he takes no blame ever either. I'm sorry, if I was playing for him, I wouldn't want to play for him. It just, to me, it just doesn't make sense. I just feel like I understand ENIC are the biggest problem. I'm not silly, but I also understand where we are. No one's going to come in and buy us, so we have to be honest about how we're going to eliminate some problems. You can't say he's part of the problem, but not the main one.
Eleanor, so are you Jose in or out?
You need to ask that question. I think Spurs fans need to stop being so starstruck. I'm going to be blunt now. I do not care what he's won other clubs. I care about what he's going to win my club. And I don't see him winning anything else but an energy drink cup. And I will say that, right? And that's it. And I don't see him winning anything else than that. And to be honest, I think that there's a bigger job than that. So yeah.
All right, we win the Carabao Cup, for example, and the Europa League. Is that a bad season? Is that a bad season?
It's a brilliant season, but you've still got to realise this team needs more damage control.
And we get Nagelsmann.
Then he can do. Well, you get anyone in.
Yeah, I'm not sure Jose Mourinho is the guy that you'd probably want to trust to do a kind of a rebuild. I think what Spurs, I think that's the one thing I always worried about with Jose Mourinho as the manager is kind of the state that he will leave the club in once he's left. And if Spurs are in need of this rebuild that everyone says, then I'm not quite sure the profile player that Jose Mourinho wants is going to be one that that's going to fit Spurs. So. Yeah, I mean, look, we'll have to reassess the situation at the end of the season. I
don't think he's going to go anytime soon.
No.
Jamie, let's come back to you. Like a lot of the fans blame the players. A lot of the fans blame the manager. Of course, Elena wants Jose Mourinho out. So do a lot of people. And lots of people blame the board. And our question now on screen from Gary Paul Speed says, ENIC and Daniel Levy out, 20 years, 1 trophy is unacceptable. How do you view this?
I mean, look, my views are probably slightly different to everyone else. Well, of course they do. I mean, look, as you've seen with Jose Mourinho, when he came in, I always looked for the positives in him. With ENIC and Daniel Levy, I do see some positives in them. I think that, the way they transformed us off the pitch is absolutely incredible. I mean, we can't argue with that. The stadium that we've moved into, we can start to maybe start competing. But the problem is, will we start competing on the pitch? And I think in the summer we made some decent additions. But now it comes down to will we go and sign this transformative defender that we need. So we'll have to wait and see how they're going back the manager in the summer.
Elena, if Jose Mourinho is still our manager at the end of this season, do you think that he will get the backing in the summer for next season?
I don't trust ENIC to back anyone personally. I don't think. I mean, he's been back more than other managers, in my opinion. But I don't trust them that they will back him to that extent. And an unhappy Jose Mourinho is not a Jose Mourinho you need at the club, because we all know what he does when he's unhappy. When he's unhappy, you can't keep him. You can't keep him here because he he throws his toys out the pram. I mean, rightly so. If he's calling out boards that haven't backed him, that's fair enough. But he still ends up getting sacked at every job he gets. at the end because he doesn't get back to that extent. We already know that he's not going to be backed here. I mean, to be fair to him, to be fair to the board, he did come in saying, well, you know, I don't need anyone else. I've got a great squad here. That was literally what he said. So he might have agreed to no backing. Everyone says, oh, you know, Jose Mourinho doesn't come to a club without knowing exactly what he's going to get. Okay, well, he did come in saying his first presser, I've got a great squad. I can get top 4 in a trophy with this squad. So now, throwing your toys out the pram and crying about it when you wanted Eric Dyer at Man United, so he wanted these players before. So it's not like when he came in, he thought, I can transform Eric Dyer to be that centre-back that I need. You know, he thought that he could do these things. I mean, it's come apparent that they're not as good as they are, and that's fine. Everyone does that. But for me, it just shows that, you know, he did also agree to not being back to that extent. Not that I agree with it, because I don't agree with ENIC not really backing managers. Like you said, I always say this is my analogy. I always say off the pitch, we are like Real Madrid. We are run like a well-oiled machine. We're a giant. On the pitch, we're run like Burnley. Like, it's like that doesn't transform to the pitch. So for me, the main problem is actually getting a DOF. For me, Levy needs to step away from the football side of things, go straight to only business side of things, and get someone in proper as a DOF and like actually do football management stuff. I don't want Levy on that stuff. But for me, I just think that we need to realize that ENIC can't go anywhere. So yeah, no, ENIC needs to go. We could all scream, ENIC go. Who's going to come and pay 3 billion for Tottenham right now? No one. Yeah. So we've got to try and eliminate some problems. And if he's part of it, then eliminate that and get a manager that will actually work under these budgets. Because you said remember that, Jose, you said you could. And obviously now crying about it is too late. It's too late to cry about what backing you already agreed to not get.
Yeah, you're
Antony,
right.
If we can't win a trophy and be successful under a manager like Mauricio Pochettino, didn't spend a penny in 518 days, you know, a lot of Tottenham fans would argue that he wasn't backed properly in his time as Tottenham Hotspur manager, despite giving us top 4 football, Champions League football year in, year out, took us to a Champions League final, took us to places and made us believe, you know, what we didn't think that we would get. Didn't quite get us over that line and didn't get us that trophy. But when you've got a manager like that, and then you bring in a serial winner in Jose Mourinho, you know, someone who's got every team over the line that he's managed, you know, certainly in his first full season. If you were going to part way with Jose Mourinho, and this is partly why I'm sitting on the fence here, you know, if you're going to part way with Jose Mourinho, what on earth do Tottenham Hotspur Football Club do next?
This is it. Where do you go? What manager do you go? Do you go young and build this person up, and as Elena was saying, complete rebuild, or do you bring another old head of a manager in that doesn't know the Premier League? For example, I'm just going to shout a name out there, say Allegri, right? Coming in, and then he's got to rebuild the squad and work with the squad. It's just, we will always be that cycle. We will always have that cycle. And until we get someone...
I'm sorry, we need to be careful. We wish for, we're ninth. So I don't know what we're being careful with. It's not like I'm going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm so sad that I'm not ninth anymore because I'm 10th. Nothing's going to change.
Yeah, Irish Hotspur is all right, man. He's a good lad. He's a good lad.
I know he's been on my channel, but I still have to.
All right. Elena's tough, you know. Elena's like.
You've been told, David. You've been told.
Elena's Greek, innit? You're Greek, innit?
Yeah.
That's why she's got the Greek. She's got the Greek fierceness. Yeah. No, what was I saying? I think I've lost my train of thought. I'm scared of Elena.
Sorry, that's my fault. I apologise.
So we'll always be. I'm all right. We'll always be in that cycle. We'll always be in that cycle. Get a new manager in. Good first season, maybe. Second season, getting Champions League. Then he don't get back. Then he gets out of the cups and and it's just we'll always be that club until we find someone with a stable background to give us a bit of stability to steady the ship. And it ain't going to, what did he say? When we end up with anything, I remember everything you said.
Right, all he has to do is win 2 in 5, and he's done better than the serial masterclass Jose Mourinho. So,
would you have Eddie Howe?
No, but I'm just saying, you're acting like he's doing an amazing job when he ain't. That's all I'm saying.
But again, so who do you bring in? Say Mourinho went tomorrow. Who do you bring in? Do you bring back Harry Redknapp, for example, to steady the ship? Great man manager? Or do you bring
Probably.
Rafa Benitez to steady the ship? He's never been.
Just for an interim. This is just for interim. For an interim.
Who would you bring
anyone.
in? Redknapp. I'd bring in Redknapp. If you talk about an interim, I'd bring in Redknapp to steady the ship.
For an interim, yeah. But then
He'd get the best out of Dele Alli.
Get anything. But then you're going to expect, like, okay, we've cut our losses now. They'd kill me.
Yes, Dingo, you.
We've got to realise that we've got to cut our losses. If we do that, we have to cut our losses here. And sort of be like, yeah, we're not going to win that final, you know, and start again. It's just admitting that we're starting again. I don't know if we should start again mid-season. I mean, I have screamed and shouted about it before, like after the Chelsea game. I was like, get rid of him now. But realistically, you might as well keep him for that final. Like we say, there's only what, 2 months left, so 13 games left. So no point. We might as well do that. And then look in the summer. I think he's got to go in the summer. There's no, to me, there is no other solution.
And you bring in Nagelsmann.
Again, for me, we need more. We need more than the serial winner right now. Is not what we need in the state we're in. That's what I feel like Tottenham fans have to be blunt with. Oh, he hasn't won anything. Okay, we're not going to win anything like this, are we? Winning a League Cup is not sustainable.
I'm scared. I'm scared of Man City.
Getting there and staying there. Winning and staying there is also a different thing for me. So if we're going to get sustainable success, we need to realise he's got to go as well. And I understand it's a very unpopular opinion. I get tons of hate comments. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I'm like, all right, that's your opinion. That's fine. But what I'm saying is, I feel like we're not being honest with the situation. Oh, he's not won anything. We're not in a position now to win things. We have Eric Dyer as a centre back. We are not in positions to win things. We need to realise that we need to cut our losses with this current proper players. And just start again. Yeah,
you're right. Chris. Gary Paul Speed has made a point. We need a new goalkeeper, which I believe, and 2 world-class centre-backs. Now, my point with world-class centre-backs is you get someone like a STREAMYARD, right? I think I was talking to you, Jay, today.
Yeah.
We was talking about this today. You bring in STREAMYARD, for example. I'm just throwing his name out there, right? Would he come in and start and hit the ball running straight away? Maybe, maybe not. But my pessimistic side would think not at all, right? Do you bring someone that's got Premier League experience? Personally, I would. To come in now,
I agree.
At the end, I'm going to get laughed at. I'm going to get laughed. What's that?
That costs so much more because they've got Premier League experience and we don't do that.
See, I would go for someone like Lewis Dunk. I'm sort of watching it in and off, right? Lewis Dunk, Vestergaard, someone like that, a Tarkowski or Tarkowski from Burnley.
Konsa.
I'm not saying that who's that?
Ezri Konsa, Aston Villa.
Konsa, we were talking about him today as well, Konsa. They know the Premier League. They know what it's like. That's what we need. We don't need 2 world-class defenders as much as I'd love that, but that ain't the answer. I want someone to hit the ground running. You buy him on a Monday, plays on a Wednesday, and he hits the ground running.
I do this.
Thank you, Simon.
I will let Jamie talk. Go.
Thank you very much, Simon. I'll start talking.
No, I do this. I apologise.
That's all right. Sorry. I'm more than happy. I've had a relaxed show. I'm just sat here, just enjoying everything unfold. I'm all right. I'll just sit back.
Well, I love a comment a minute ago saying let Elena be the manager because I'm sure the players would listen to you. Rather than
I wouldn't take any prisoners. That's one thing. And me lying to a documentary saying I tell them to press and then Son has 1 touch in 87 minutes. That won't happen under me, I tell you. Anyway, go on.
Jamie, come on, talk to us. You have this next question. Jose called Daniel Levy a genius after the summer transfer window. Now him and his coaching staff are second to none, yet we have won 3 games in our last 13 games. He hasn't won for a rebuild. Jose should be long gone. What do you think?
Yeah, look, I think you're totally right. You know, when he took the job, he would have known what he was getting himself into. I said this a while ago. I remember clashing with someone who was kind of saying that Jose Mourinho should go, and this was back when I was really defending the manager. But when he arrived at the club, he would have known that the stipulations in place there. So, you know, and again, he also talked about that he was a change manager, that he'd gone away and kind of changed his methods, and maybe he was adapting for a different club. And yeah, look, now it's obviously it's a different situation, and you know, it does seem like he is kind of throwing his toys out the pram by saying those comments where he's saying, "Can't coach these players. My coaching methods are second to none." That is a manager, unfortunately, who is kind of really complaining about the situation that he finds himself in. I think this again, it's, you know, it comes down. I do think he's underestimating the squad. I think he's shown that he's got a winning formula in place, but he obviously decided to move away from that, and that for me is the biggest worry. But yeah, I agree with that. When he took the job, he would have known exactly what Spurs are all about. He knows what Daniel Levy was all about. So, you know, you can't say now, after 19 months or so, you can't suddenly start changing your tune.
Jamie, what have you made of Jose Mourinho's comments, though, talking about the Europa League? Because, you know, for me being a Tottenham fan, you know, I'm just thinking that Jose is pinning all of his hopes on winning the Europa League to get that Champions League spot for next season, rather than getting the top four. You know, that saddens me quite a lot, because when you think back under Maurizio Pochettino, we played some fantastic football, and he always delivered that top four spot. Yeah. He always delivered the board requirement. And Jose Mourinho, you know, last season he came in, he didn't get us Champions League, he got us Europa League. And of course, we now look in doubt again to be getting Champions League football next season. So if it all goes pear-shaped in the Europa League, then what? Yeah,
I mean, that's the worry. And I think a comment said that earlier. Jose Mourinho is kind of being kept in the job because of the Europa League. I mean, for me, you know, you look at his record in the Europa League, of course, it's fantastic. He's been in it twice and won it twice. So he's got that experience of knowing how to get through the rounds. I think that's where I'm a bit more confident, certainly a lot more confident in knockout football. I think knockout football compared to league football, I think it's a lot different, and sort of Jose Mourinho's approach to just winning those games. I think, as you said earlier, Elena, you know, the way Mourinho sets his teams up is to win across 90 minutes, and that's what you'd have to do in knockout football. So I hold more hope in the Europa League, but for me, look, the Premier League, and I said it on last one, Spurs, maybe a month ago or so. The Premier League's done for me. I think that, you know, the way that we've been playing, the way we set up, just wasn't ready for wasn't designed for Premier League football. And you know, now we've really dug ourselves into a big mess. So I can't see us doing anything in the Premier League. And unfortunately, all the hopes have to be now on the Europa League, which, in fairness, I do actually genuinely believe that we can do well in. I mean, we've certainly got the potential to do well in. Mourinho, in the past, as I said, he's got that experience of doing well in that competition, but you know, it depends on his team selections, and yeah, there's obviously a lot of factors in that, but I'm still fairly confident for that competition.
Anthony, Jamie says there about just writing the Premier League off and concentrating on the cups, but it's just not as simple as that, is it? Because, you know, it's a couple of months away until we play that League Cup final, and of course, Manny Man writes on screen now exactly what we've been saying about Jose, you know, getting that Champions League spot of top four. Surely it is a bold requirement, and it is an absolute must.
Well, I mean, I didn't know this. I mean, I was daydreaming the day he signed for us. Mourinho took over, but I didn't know that if we don't get Champions League football, then he can get sacked for a cut price. So maybe is it going to be the best of both worlds? You don't get Champions League, and then Elena, for example, gets a whist and he goes. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's a bit of a double-edged sword. Of course, I want us to do well in the league. You know, Arsenal was supposed to be having their worst season ever, and they're 2 points behind us. It's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. West Ham, who we played yesterday, they're 9 points above us. It's not good enough. The league form is not good enough. And Jamie's right. The knockout football's fine. Get in, get out, don't look back. But the Premier League, we have to suffer week in and week out. And at the moment, I'm not enjoying it.
Anthony, in that game against West Ham yesterday, you know, of course, Tottenham had all those chances in the second half. Do you actually think that we deserve something out of that game?
Yeah, we do. Do you know what? Bale hitting the crossbar, Sonny with that last-ditch effort hitting the post. It's just one of them things. If we'd have come away with a draw, I wouldn't have been as mad. But we did deserve something from that. But, you know, again, silly mistakes within the first 5 minutes. We're 1-0 down. Yeah. First 2-3 minutes of the second half, we're 2-0 down. And then you chase it. If we were 1-0 down going into the second half, 1-0 down, and then we end up equalising 1-0, then it would have been game on. But I think heads dropped, mate. And it wasn't until Bale started taking over the game yesterday, and you saw him head and shoulders above every other Spurs player in that team.
That for me is where the frustration is. You look at that second half performance and how exciting it was, and that for me, I started actually caring about. That sounds really bad, but I actually started getting like emotions about Supporting Spurs again, because I saw Gareth Bale playing well. I saw him combining with Kane. I saw him combining with Son, and I was getting excited again. And that for me is where the big frustration lies. Is I want to, we've got so, again, I'll keep saying it. There is so much attacking talent. There's so much to be excited about this squad, but. Again, it's shooting ourselves in the foot by conceding really poor goals, that just poor defensive organisation, a lack of attacking plan in the first half, and we ended up just shooting ourselves in the foot as we said.
Elena, let's come to you now. A question on screen from Ken writes: will Harry Kane and Heung-min Son be up for an 18-month rebuild? Now, the interesting question is here: if Tottenham won a Carabao Cup in April, will Harry Kane and Heung-min Son want to stay? If Jose Mourinho is sacked in the summer, will Harry Kane and Heung-min Son want to stay? Whatever Tottenham achieve or don't achieve, do you see Heung-min Son and Harry Kane being Tottenham Hotspur players next season?
I think they need Champions League football and a cup. I think they need both, because I'm sorry, these are two players that could be getting both. A League Cup is not going to sit here and keep them here. I'm sorry, because that doesn't give them anything more than what they've had now. Just a medal in one of the smallest domestic competitions. I understand they win that, but they also need Champions League, in my opinion. So in my opinion, they're going anyway, because I don't see how they're going to stay if we're not playing top flight European football. I think they deserve that, and they deserve trophies as well. But what I'm saying is, I think if they can see a plan, I feel like everyone needs to see a plan. There is no plan right now. We're just sort of rolling with the punches. It's kind of like under Poch, even though he didn't he didn't achieve. He should have. I understand he should have achieved things. I'm not saying he can't be held accountable. He definitely can be. He had a team to win a cup, did take them seriously. But under Poch, there was a long-term plan of reaching sustainable top-flight success. There was. Even if it was sustainable or not under Remix, they kind of believed the plan that they had in place. Hence why Pochettino always said, we have a philosophy. He kept using the word philosophy. I feel like if we put a long-term, actual, sustainable plan out there, there is ways to convince these players to stay. Because you've got to realise we have a great stadium, great training ground. If we start saying we're not just trying to paper over the cracks, get a manager in for a season, win something quick, and then we've blown up and we're terrible again. Like that's literally what it looks like. We're a ticking time bomb to be in a mid-table club, and we're just sort of papering over with what we've got. What we need to do is show some kind of long-term, we could be top-flight club, and we have everything in place to do that, but not the funds and the manager. And I feel like that's not two things that work in where we are now. In what we're showing now, to me, is quick fixes over a long-term problem. And that is not going to keep Harry Kane and Son here.
Antony, let's come to you. The last time you were on the channel, I asked you about the players that you would let go in the summer. You named pretty much the whole squad, apart from Heung-min Son, Harry Kane, Ndombele, Reguilon, and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. And you said the rest can go. Question now on screen about Jose Mourinho's had one summer transfer window, £60 million. Deadwood players need to go. Spurs have not won anything in 13 years. Jose needs time. What are your thoughts on that? Because how much money, realistically, to rebuild this squad, to rebuild a good team? And when we're talking about rebuilding, what are we talking about rebuilding for? A top 4 place, challenging for the Premier League? What? And how much is it going to cost?
Yeah, exactly. I think I was talking to this with my mate this afternoon again. I asked him the question, if we needed a rebuild, which we're going on about, would you rather lose Son or Kane? And my mate, I think, was it you, Jay?
It might have been. I think it might have been, to be fair.
Maybe it was, mate. But yeah, the initial answer was, if you had to choose between both, you're going to go Son. You'd have to lose Son. Now, Son will bring in X amount of millions, but then you're losing a class player. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not as easy. Listen, if I had a magic wand, I'd get rid of the people I've named the other week on your show. But it ain't going to happen that quick. You're going to take a loss on Sissoko. You're going to take a loss on Sanchez. You're going to take a loss on Dyer. You're going to take a loss on Davis. These players, Bergwijn, these players, unfortunately, are not good enough and would not get
Dyer
into
is his
any.
choice, though. Dyer
Yeah,
is
I
his
know,
choice.
but
He
but
wants him
there
at
is better
United.
players
Can
than
we all
Dyer.
imagine? He could have taken him at United. Oh my goodness! Like I'm just saying that there are things that he's been backed on. He wanted Dyer, so we gave him a new contract. Like there are things he's been backed on that are also long-term mistakes. Because Levy's going to say, "Well, you wanted Derek Dyer to be your main centre back. That's what you told me. So now you want 2 new centre backs. I'm sorry, I gave him a new contract for you. I could have sold him." That, like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I just feel like we're not listening. We're not realizing that the guy is part of the problem, because what he does is what it looks like is a good signing, Jose signing, bad signing, not Jose signing. That's the way it works. Doherty was a Jose signing at the beginning of the season. Now, no, we never wanted him. Like that's the way it works. It's actually crazy that the way this guy actually manipulates fan bases, because as soon as things go wrong, it's never his fault. The guy needs to be held accountable, and these decisions that he's made, buying these players and wanting these players to get contracts and saying, I've got the best squad, I can get top 4 in a trophy, I can do whatever I want. Like, I just think we're not being honest with the situation.
Jamie, let's come to you. Question now from Harvey, and he writes, my expectations for the rest of the season is to win the League Cup and the Europa League. I'll take that over top 4 any day of the week. Now, me and you have had this argument many times about top 4 and about trophies. You know, of course, Tottenham haven't won a trophy in 13 years. Now, his expectation is to win the League Cup and the Europa League. That's exactly my expectation as well. And regardless of the football we're playing at the moment, on the 25th of April, if we lose that cup final, I'm going to be absolutely devastated.
Yeah. No, look, for me, I always used to believe, I mean, under Pochettino, for me, it was always kind of about, we always needed the top 4 so that we could continue to progress and we continue to kind of build the team up by attracting the best players in. But now I think we do need trophies. And in fairness, I think, if we were to win the Europa League, it doesn't matter if we were to finish in the top 4, we'd still get Champions League football anyway. So, yeah, for me, I mean, look, it's obviously, it's still optimistic at the moment to kind of want both. But again, I do really believe in this. I do think that this squad has shown the capabilities of going on an impressive run in the Europa League. In the one-off game, we can do anything in the League Cup. So, yeah, for me, I'm definitely looking at both those competitions. I just one thing as well in the Premier League. For me, I don't want us to write it off, but I think that we will ourselves write it off because of the way that we're playing and the way that we're setting up. And that for me is that's the point I was trying to make. For me personally, I wouldn't write it off.
Is this the only way that Jose Mourinho saves his job, though, Jamie, by winning the Europa League? Because if we get to the end of the season, and let's say, for argument's sake, Tottenham finish 9th or 10th in the Premier League outside the European competitions, but we do win a League Cup, is that enough?
No. For me, right now, in this moment in time, even if he was to win the Europa League, I'd still probably look for a new manager. I think I honestly, at the end of the year, I would probably get rid of Jose Mourinho regardless of what we win. I just don't think he's long term what Spurs need. So, yeah, for me, it's all about addressing it at the end of the season. And regardless of if we were to win a cup, I'd probably look to part ways with him.
Elena, do you think that Jose would keep his job if he won either one of the trophies?
It's very hard. I don't know. I don't think a League Cup will keep him in the job, considering we finish outside of Europe. He needs I feel like if we finish, I know we win the League Cup, we get Europa, but I just don't. I think if we finish 9th or 10th, that will still be enough to get him out. I think it's not enough to show he deserves the job further. But if he wins that Europa League, it is very hard to then say you should go because you've won a major European trophy. But I think that we have to be real. The minute we play a decent team in that Europa League, I don't think we're getting through. Personally, because our defence is just so shocking. Yes, who do we think we are? Like I have said, I don't care what you've won other clubs. I care about winning at my club. So I'm not going to sit here and judge you on winning my biggest rivals Chelsea a cup. I'm going to win on what you're winning my club, to be honest. So I don't really care. So yeah, to be honest, I don't show me your CV all you like. If you're showing me what you're showing on the pitch, then I don't want you here. So I just think that we need to realise that we're not winning many games right now. Like I said, we've won 5 in the league. lost 5, won 1, which is West Brom at home. I just think that we're not being honest, that he's not looking like he can win. That Europa League is a long competition, and I feel like if we're saying our squad is as bad as it is, which a lot of people do, they say our squad is terrible, then how are we going to get through a Europa League competition if our squad is that bad? Like, do you realize that, you know, the Europa League teams are not that bad? Like, people are very much underestimating, because we've had quite an easy run. I mean, we've had a very poor opposition up to now, so we're very much underestimating this Europa League. Like,
100%.
Stop banking everything in the Europa League.
We were nearly knocked
out.
out.
Not even make it. I mean, I think we need to start like realizing that yes, Jose Mourinho is a great manager, but with a lot of funds and the players he wants, he should have known, as I say, when he came in, he said he didn't need much. So he should have known. When people ask me, what about Skriniar? Why didn't he get Skriniar? And why didn't he get... Well, he said that he had the team he wanted, and he's not going to get 10 signings through a door. It's Tottenham Hotspur. You do your research. You know exactly what we're like. So I just think that it's a bit of naivety on his side. I genuinely think he overestimated that team when he first came in. They had just made a Champions League final. He overestimated that team, thought that Poch was the problem, but it was collectively a problem. He was part of it, but collectively a problem. And he thought that, you know, we can. I can get this team because, you know, they made a Champions League final. They must be good. So I think that he kind of was a bit naive in the situation and thought that this team is better than it is, and then said, I don't need backing. And then now he's crying about it, which is quite funny to me, because you can't be crying about something you genuinely agreed to.
So, Elena, are you Jose in or Jose out?
I ask questions 3 times every stream. You know what? I had Antony on mine, and you obviously knew my opinions, but I have to sit there and be a bit more of a host, so I just let them talk. When I'm on other streams, I just sort of let loose. So I apologise.
No, it's all good, Elena. It was a good show the other night. But Sussex Hotspur said they're still United, Leicester, and Arsenal in there, and so with Ajax. So as we're saying, it's not a given. So we come up against an Ajax. Is Lucas Moura going to pull off one of his one in 50,000 games he plays for Spurs? So. It's
that United team as well. Leicester.
Exactly.
We're not very far off Arsenal. I mean, we've seen that like in the league now. So people are really underestimating what we've got. I just feel like it's not being honest that we can sit here and say, yeah, he needs players. Yes, he needs to spend money. Is that going to happen? No. So we need to look to genuine solutions. Sorry, calling for the board's head. Who's going to come in and tell me, honest people that are coming in and buying Tottenham Hotspur right now?
Yeah.
No one. Yeah. So why are we not looking to things that we can actually do? We can't get the board out. So we've got to look at solutions in this. He's part of it, but not the main problem. But he's part of the problem. And I just think we're sitting there going, focus your attention on the board. You don't know about football because you don't like Jose Mourinho. It's not true. Just focus my attention on the board is fine, but you still need to eliminate problems that you have as well.
Yeah.
Jamie, you've said many times that Jose Mourinho sets Tottenham up like a cup team. How confident are you of actually Tottenham winning a trophy this season? And, you know, I can't even believe we're talking about trophies, having lost our last 5 out of 6 Premier League games. But, you know, we are in a cup final in the Carabao Cup on the 25th of April. How confident are you that Tottenham will lift that trophy? And of course, we've seen the likes of Arsenal, Leicester, Manchester United, Ajax, you know, on screen a minute ago, left in the Europa League. How confident are you that Tottenham will get through to that final?
Well, I think the big thing is obviously right now he needs to change. What he needs to change is stop continuously rotating the back line. We need a settled back line. And again, it comes back down to the run we had in November and kind of the early stages of the season when we were top of the league, tried and tested the system. We've moved away from that. Why did we move away from that? I don't really know. And that's why we've been on such a poor run recently. We've lost our identity as a team. If we can get it back, then I think that we do have a good chance because we showed we were a side that was right up there in the Premier League. We've got, you know, the number of players that we have. You know, we should still be confident. But
who was the number of goal scorers? Who was scoring our goals?
Well, maybe that's
going to happen.
No, but maybe that's the big thing as well with Gareth Bale coming back into the side and potentially Dele Alli. then maybe you've got some different options there that might start coming good. I think that Gareth Bale's performance for me was such a big thing. So I don't know. Again, it just comes back down to whether he'll change and whether he'll go back to the way, you know, that we were operating in back in November, when we'd have settled back four, we'd have settled lineup, we had an actual style of play. Yes, obviously it wasn't what the fans wanted, but it was getting results, and we've moved away from that, and we've lost all our identity now. So it all comes down to whether he's willing to go back to that. So we'll have to wait and see.
Jamie, let's come back to you. Point on screen now. Jurgen Klopp was average until we got Virgil van Dijk and Alisson. The Jose in or Jose out is very silly. Pochettino didn't win a cup for 5 years. Fans need to calm down.
No, but I think he made the point earlier as well. I think it is true, and I said it earlier on the stream. I think that's what we need. I don't think we have a bad squad. I think what we are missing is big players in certain positions, and that's where it comes down to. I mean, in the past, obviously Daniel Levy and the board haven't shown that they're willing to go and sign those big players. But that's what we need now. If we actually want to go and start winning titles, we want to start winning trophies. That's the sort of big players that we need. I really feel as though we are in that kind of Liverpool situation where we beat them 4-1 at Wembley. They were a team that had some good players in them, but they were just missing those one or two players that were really going to take them to the next level. And that's what Spurs need. We've signed a top central defender. Then obviously, and then you've got Sergio Reguilon, you've got Aurier back in form around him. You've got someone leading them. And that for me, those are the sort of players that we need. But we'll have to wait and see in the summer and see whether the board are actually serious about going and winning trophies. Obviously, they haven't proved in the past that they're doing that. We are in the new stadium now, and that's obviously what we were kind of waiting for. So there are no excuses anymore. So we'll have to wait and see in the summer. But they haven't proved it in the past that that's what they're willing to do.
Elena, let's come to you. Now, we knew when Jose Mourinho arrived at Tottenham, we know his record about winning trophies. Now, Harvey writes on screen now, I know it's just the League Cup, but I would take it any day of the week. Now, how do you feel as a Spurs fan? Because I know how I feel. The last 13 years, a trophy drought.
I know how you feel. I listened to everything
the trophies are way overdue. Come on, it is ridiculous. 2008 is the last trophy we won.
100%, but that still doesn't change that you should go after it. Like 100%, even if we need that trophy. This is why we got him. We got him to win a trophy quickly. But to me, there are bigger problems at Tottenham Hotspur that he can't fix because he's not the man to do that job. So, yes, we need a trophy. Yes, 100%. I want to go all out and I want to actually play some football against City because I'm sorry, the way we played against them, I understand they're an amazing team. But Arsenal seem to look like they could do something against them. Do you know what I mean? We're not playing any football. So I want to go out and actually play some kind of football. I understand he's probably the best. Like I've said, he's the best man manager for that game. Not for man managing the squad, but for that game. He's the best manager to do that in that League Cup. So I 100% think that we need to be realistic. He's going to stay until then. I'm not going to stop saying that he needs to go after it because to me, that is still my opinion. But we need to win that trophy. If he doesn't, to me, this 15 mil a season that we're going to be paying him out for, when either getting rid of him or keeping him, is just not worth it because you play this football to win trophies. I'm not enjoying watching us. So I think that we have to win that final. And 100%, I would love to win that final. So, yeah, and when we did beat them 2-0, like I say, I don't think that was sustainable football, but we can get lucky on the day. So a final is a final. We've got to it, and you can only beat who's in front of you. I know that we beat Brentford and Stoke to get there, but we can only beat who's in front of you, and we looked all right. So I think that we need to realise that he is the best one to get us that trophy. So yeah, I think that we will get it, hopefully.
Anthony, how are you feeling about trophies? Because, of course, 13 long years without trophies. Yeah. Pochettino got us top four constantly. We didn't get trophies over the line. In previous years, a lot of fans have spoken about perhaps it is time to go for a trophy rather than the top four. What are your thoughts on it? Would you rather finish top four Champions League, or would you rather just win a trophy?
I just want to see Harry Kane, Lloris, and all them boys lift the cup, mate. Because it's only, especially with the Kane, man. His boyhood club, and for us fans, I just want a good day out at Wembley. There's nothing better. Do not tell me, as Spurs fans, you don't want to go to Wembley and watch your team win a cup. No matter who's in charge. okay? Whether it was Matey Boy in '99, George Graham, right? 2008, One Day Ramos. You forget about who's manager. You're there for the team, man. And there's nothing better than seeing your team dancing around Wembley holding the cup. It doesn't get any better.
I just worry though. I genuinely worry about that game against City. Like, I feel like he's the best manager to get us through it. But it's
listen,
City.
We're gonna make a mistake, Elena. Elena will make a mistake. Aguero will come back from his injury. First game back, he's gonna nick a penalty, and they're probably gonna win 1-0. That's how it's gonna go. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't think.
But if it's 1-0, go for it at 1-0. Try to get the
go for it. Yeah, go for it. Then leave yourself exposed.
If we're 1-0 down, down,
and then the ball's gonna come over and hit Sanchez's head. It's gonna go in the air 15,000 meters high. Come back down. Lloris is gonna try and catch it, and he's gonna parry it in his own head. That's 2-0. Then you're 2-0 down. Then we go back out. Then we kick off again. And Son gets fouled.
Does anyone here think we're going to win that final? Or no?
Yeah,
no,
I do. Why not? Again, it's a one-off game. It just comes down to one game. We've shown we can beat Man City before. Yes, obviously it was a different Manchester City, but again, it comes down to back what I've been saying. It's whether he's willing to change and whether he's willing to go back to the system that's tried and tested. Otherwise, I'm not that confident. But you look at the attacking players that we have going forward. Should be more. We have enough to beat Manchester City in a one-off match. So I think you have to be somewhat confident.
Or Fernandinho will score a worldie from 45 yards. Because he hasn't scored all season.
Have you got the cup final song ready?
One scares me.
I've got the cup final song. Yeah, I've got the cup final song.
I mean, it does make sense. The year does end in one. So I'm just scared of it. I'm scared of being humiliated. But again, on the other hand, if you got to pick a manager for that game in the situation we're in, you would pick Jose Mourinho to go against Pep. So as I say, just because I don't like him to be our long-term manager doesn't mean I totally discredit everything he's good at. What he's good at is 90 minutes.
Can we just make a pact, people, yeah? Can we not start tweeting the day of the final about, Pep hasn't lost to Mourinho in 330 minutes of the game and all that? I just don't want us to bock it. Please, if there's one thing you can listen to me, please, just don't bock us, man. Do not put the...
You know what? Please. I mean, Moyes broke another record the other day, didn't he?
Thank you.
He did. Yep.
It's just
Thank you. Someone tweeted he hasn't beaten Mourinho in 12 games.
I was sitting here saying, I don't want Lingard. I've got Dele Alli. Why would I want Lingard?
Because don't be a Spurs snob. Don't be a Spurs snob, Elena.
And then Lingard went and did what he did.
Thank you very much. And that's what I said.
Finish, to be fair, but yeah, I just don't want to be embarrassed. But again, things can change. We do have a few games to pick up some form. But like you say,
I think company will come out of retirement.
The back centre. What's Rodon done? Did he do that one mistake? Rodon did one mistake. Now he's just down. That's it. This is what I mean. This is not good man management of young players.
It's the trust issues as well. It's weird, the players that he kind of picks, the way that he trusts players, and then he suddenly doesn't. I think the trust with Gareth Bale, I know exactly what's going to happen, unfortunately. Gareth Bale's going to start on Wednesday when he should be saved for the Premier League match. And that for me, it comes down to the trust. Dele Alli had a fantastic performance on Thursday and then was dropped. So that, the trust issue. And then, Joe Rodon is a good example. What did he do? What did he do wrong? Of course, made one mistake in what is like his 5th Premier League start against Liverpool. And then, we never saw him again when he was playing actually really quite solid. He was putting in.
This is the thing. This is my problem. It's like we keep saying, oh, it's player mistakes. But you're picking the players. So who do I go on?
Yeah.
Elena, have you got a song? Have you got your song you're going to sing?
Honestly, do you know what's funny? When you came on, I was like, do I mention it? Do I not? Do I mention it? Do I not? And I know most of your songs. So I was like, just sitting there, like I wanted to sing.
So when the song, we last won a cup in 2008. It's
It's like Lee McQueen all over again on Love Sport.
It's literally don't.
Jamie, let's come to you. Hugo Lloris, it's been mentioned quite a lot of time in the media that he might be off to PSG to be reunited with Maurizio Pochettino. You tweeted earlier via the Daily Hotspur, Dean Henderson is a goalkeeper that Tottenham are looking at. Do you think that Tottenham will replace Hugo Lloris in the summer?
Well, look, of course, I think his contract situation, I think he'll have one more year in the summer. So potentially it's something that we might look at. And then, of course, I still rate Hugo Lloris. I think that, unfortunately, he's got a back four in front of him that aren't good enough, that, as we keep saying, are chopping and changing. So I actually think the criticism of Lloris has been a bit harsh. But, maybe the club will look to move him on in the summer. Of course, again, it comes down to his contract situation. The big thing is, I want an experienced goalkeeper coming in. I don't want a young keeper coming in who's short of confidence. So, yeah, for me, I'm not quite sure that Dean Henderson would be the one. You look at him, I think he's 24 years old. So he's a young keeper. He's inexperienced. Yes, of course, he had that good year at Sheffield United. But you look this year, when he's been given his opportunities, he's, at Manchester United, he's certainly looked a bit shaky. And you look at kind of when clubs have looked to bring in young keepers, Kepa at Chelsea, it's obviously been a bit of a disaster really for them. So for me, if we are to go and replace Hugo Lloris, I want someone who is experienced. But for me, that for me is not an area where I'd desperately looking to address in the summer.
Elena, I know that you're clearly Jose out, and I know we've lost Antony now. I think he's going to, write the cup final. But fixtures coming up. We've got Wolfsburg on Wednesday night. Of course, we should be through to the last 16 of the Europa League, having been 4-1 up in the first leg. The Europa League draw is this Friday, and then we've got Burnley at home on Sunday. We've got Fulham away, Crystal Palace at home, Arsenal away, and Aston Villa away. Realistically, where are we picking up these points?
Oh, the two home games have to be wins. It's just not. It's. I think in the next three, when we've got Palace, Burnley, and then we've got Arsenal. I think Arsenal will be a draw. To be honest, I don't think they're good enough to beat us, and I don't think we will beat them. I mean, they're terrible, but I think that these points have to come in that Burnley we've got, right? We've got Burnley and Palace, and I feel like we have to win those two games.
Yeah, for sure.
It's gonna be very hard. I get that because it's like two teams that don't want the ball. We play the exact same football. So it's very hard to play teams that play the exact same way. And I feel like we kind of saw that with Leicester, but they're just very clinical on the counter. So we did see a team that doesn't like to have too much of the ball, and then they go and punish us. But we should have more quality. So I think, I personally, I just think we need to build the squad. But that's your opinion. That's fine. But I trust me, I get a lot worse than that because I'm very outspoken. But it's fine. I just think that for me, I think maybe I'm being silly, and maybe he is going to win everything and he is the right man. But from what I've seen, there is nothing of our league form and general form to prove that he is the guy to be this, the next man to take Tottenham to new heights. I feel like you get Jose Mourinho when either you have the funds for the winning team or the winning team available. We don't have either. So it just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, these points have to come somewhere, and they have to come in that Burnley game or that Palace game. They have to be wins. If they're not wins, and we also look terrible, we have to we have to start. When do you look to a manager then? When do you look to a manager if we lose both them games? It just seems incredible that fans will still not.
There's a great point on screen here. It says Jose stays and Elena out.
I mean, I'm not going anywhere. You could try and get me out, but I'm not going anywhere. I get called a lot worse than that, so it's fine. I get told to. I'm not welcome in the ground apparently as well because I don't support the manager apparently. So yeah, I just ignore that because I want us to be successful just as much as the next person. I'll be screaming and probably crying, so it's fine. But as much as I hear things like that, to me it's just silly because we all have opinions. We all want to win. We all have different opinions on how to get there. And my opinion is he's just not the right man to get us there. But that if he is, great. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong because I'll be very happy to be wrong. So it's fine. Just like I want Enoch to back him. I don't see them doing it, but prove me wrong.
No, it's a great point, Eleanor. I say that on most videos, actually. You know, no matter what our opinions are, we all want the same thing. We all want to see Tottenham Hotspur win, and certainly we all want to see trophies as well. Jamie, what do you think will come first? Jose Mourinho winning a trophy or Jose Mourinho being discharged as Tottenham manager?
Blimey. Look, the next 3 games are massive. As Elena said, we've got to get 9 points from them. They're 3 very winnable games, and for sure, I think it's also a great opportunity to kind of turn the season around, maybe in the Premier League. You know, if you can start to build some sort of momentum, you can start to build some sort of confidence, you can start to build partnerships by sticking with the team that you want, that you think is the best to move forward, as long as it's not Darren Sanchez as central defenders. So yeah, we obviously got an opportunity now to build some sort of run, build some momentum. So you've got to be getting 9 points, and if we don't, then maybe you will start to see question marks. I think I've just seen there's quite an interesting report come out from the Telegraph that Julian Nagelsmann will probably be made the number 1 target if Jose Mourinho fails to turn the form around. So I'm quite happy about that, but I hope Jose Mourinho does turn the form around. As we said, you know, we just want to see Spurs being successful, and I don't care whether it's under Jose, don't care if it's under another manager. I just want to see Spurs winning things, and if he is the right man, he can turn it around, then brilliant. But we'll have to wait and see.
Last question for you both. Score prediction for the Burnley game on Sunday.
Do you want to go first, or am I going first?
You go first.
Oh, right. I did not want to say that. I'm going to go. Blimey. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Spurs. I mean, we're going to. I'm see us conceding a goal, unfortunately. But look, if we can maybe change his ways, if he picks the right defensive partnership, then we should have more than enough quality. And hopefully Gareth Bale will start. I don't want to see Gareth Bale starting on Wednesday. I want to see him starting on the weekend. That's the more important fixture. Yes, of course. I said it on the last one, Spurs last night. We should not have any problems on Wednesday. So I'd like to see a stronger team in the Premier League against Burnley. So we should have more than enough quality to beat them, Burnley.
Eleanor, what do you reckon?
I would like to see like like Scarlett and stuff playing on Wednesday. Like I want to see give our youngsters a shot. We should be fine realistically. So I think I don't want to see Bale at all. I want him to be starting lineup and like all guns firing. But we didn't even beat Burnley very well when we were flying. Wasn't it a 1-0 or was it 2-1? I knew it was really tight because I was literally on the floor in my living room like hiding. So because I counted down those minutes. So I just don't feel like we're gonna break them down very well. I'm gonna say 1-0. I don't see us getting 2 goals, and I don't see. I mean, we probably would concede, but I'm gonna go positive and say 1-0 to us because I just don't see. It's not a goal scoring fixture playing Tottenham Hotspur and Burnley right now in the way we play football. So I just don't see it happening. If we go 1-0 up, we'll park ship and just let them have the ball. They don't really have much quality long balls over the top. Hopefully Eric Dyer likes to actually jump off the ground. He's 6 foot and he doesn't like to jump, so hopefully he will jump. And they'll just try to get long balls over the top, so hopefully we can nullify them. And I'm saying 1-0 to us.
Well, we have to get back to winning ways. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win, and we have to 2-0. We have to win. We've got to turn it around at some point.
It's got to win. I mean, if we don't, let's just say on the flip side, if we don't win our next 2 games, is he defendable at this point?
If we don't beat Burnley at home, then you really, really have to ask questions. You really do. But again, I think the point was made earlier. Maybe the Europa League is keeping him in the job, and that's what they're looking at as a way into the Champions League. But who comes in now midway through the season and wins that competition? So maybe your best. I think the only way you get rid of Jose Mourinho, and for me, I think the biggest way is if it starts to turn toxic in the dressing room and it starts to become untenable. I think if results are bad, then maybe he'll be kept in the job as long as we're in the Europa League. But that for me is the only saving grace.
Jamie, Eleanor, it's been a pleasure talking to you. We could talk all night about Jose Mourinho and Tottenham Hotspur, but let's hope we can turn it around and get a win. Eleanor, do you want to promote anything, your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so you can find me on the Football Terrace. I do a Tottenham hour, which you are on tomorrow. It's not live, but it comes out on a Thursday, but we're pre-recording it. And yeah, that's called That Tottenham Show, and that's on the Football Terrace. And you can follow me on lilywhite_TV, and I have my own YouTube channel, Lily White TV, and it will get back to some content. I've just been focusing on my podcast right now, but yeah, find me on Twitter at lilywhite_TV.
And Jamie, the Daily Hotspur, tell everyone about the Daily Hotspur.
Yeah, the Daily Hotspur. I mean, hopefully I'll be posting some news about signing a big defender, and maybe Spurs turning their form around. Yeah, I'm not sure Jason McGovern will be too happy about it, but let's wait and see. Hopefully something happens.
He loves it. He loves it. Jamie, Eleanor, thank you very much.
During those transfer times.
I know, it's very busy. Yeah, very.
Thank you very much, and come on, you Spurs.